Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hey cousins. So we had I so I recorded a little video, and the reason why I'm explaining this is that in case you might be triggered, you can just like click off the video. It's okay. I spoke about my surgery that I had last year. It was a total abdominal hysterectomy. So that basically means that my uterus was removed, my cervix was removed, but I still have my ovaries. So I chatted to you guys, basically just the reflection on looking back over the last year, whether I would now, in hindsight, would still do the surgery or not, what I learned from it, how I saw God show up in my life afterwards, and just, just a little chit chat. So if you want to see how I go from this, from this girl to this girl in under 30 minutes, get yourself something to drink, to eat, or if you have other things to do, just turn up the volume and listen to my voice, because that's all that's needed. Okay, thank you. See you just now. Gosh, I just had this the start of a very long conversation with y'all, and I did not press record. So I just put on primer on my face, and I distinctly remember on my very first YouTube video, if I remember, then I'm gonna link it somewhere, it will appear somewhere. My very first YouTube video, and I said that I won't do makeup on my channel, and that's still the truth, because I don't know how to do makeup. I honestly, I don't. I just take chances on my own face, and some days it comes out, it looks really good, and some days it's like, maybe you should wipe that off, and that's exactly what I do. So this is not a tutorial, it's just an opportunity for me to chat to you guys quickly. I was saying that this video, I think I recorded, I think this is like the third or the fourth time that I tried recording this video. Every single time something would just be off, and it was during that time when I was not feeling well, and then I decided like just to stop, slow down, and come back to it, and I promised that I will come back to it, and yeah, I am. So I feel like that's a lot. Okay, so yeah. So I'm completing this video, but I also wanted to chat to you guys. In about a few days, less than a week, it will be 1 year since my since the surgery I had last year. Surgery was on the 1st of August, and if you haven't seen me chat about that, but I didn't speak about it in great detail, I actually just disappeared off YouTube because that's a little bit emotional. Well, I expected it to be like emotional. So I just disappeared off YouTube, and I didn't have a good 2022, to be honest. I did the surgery for my health, and gosh, I'm glad I did. Like I really am glad that I did. And I think that is what we need to speak on, because that has been like running through my head the last few days. So usually I think my foundations are always a little bit darker than my actual skin tone. I think I'm supposed to go a shade lighter. If you know, let me know. But I like this color that it gives. Like, I like the slightly darker color that matches with my neck. Okay, so on the 1st of August, I went in for surgery. It was not emergency surgery, so I knew about it. I had a okay, let me tell you from the beginning, because I haven't really spoken about this on here, on YouTube, on Instagram, like one of my stories, one day on my stories perhaps, like, but not really in detail. So on the 10th of March last year, I went for my checkup at the gynecologist. And before 2020, I used to go every year. Like, I used to go for my checkups every year for a pap smear. And it was always fine. But in 2020, when these type of things was like, you really didn't have to go. And I didn't go for those checkups before 2020 because of anything. I just used to go. Honestly, I used to go for vitality points, to earn vitality points. So I would go do my checkups, and I would have a pap smear done at the gynecologist every year. And every year the gynecologist tells me like, it's fine, or the previous ones, it's fine. You don't have to come back for like 3 years. And every year I would just ignore them and I would just go back again after a year to do my checkup. So I didn't do one in 2020, 2021. And then in 2022, I was like, okay, it's now long. You need to go. So I went on the 10th of March, and it was a new gynecologist, a female gynecologist. And before this, I didn't like to go to female gynecologists because the last one that I went to, she really hurt me. And I felt like, I just, like, my first experience with a female gynecologist was not good. And I just decided, like, I don't want another female gynecologist. So when I booked this appointment, I went to the first available gynecologist at the hospital that's closest to me. And I didn't know that it was a female. Did I? I don't think I quite knew that it was a female. No, I knew it was a female. But I was like, you know what? It's fine. Let me just go and get it sorted and do it. So I went to this doctor, and she was, hold on. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, I went to this doctor, and she asked, obviously, like, we did the routine things. And then when she did my scan, she found this massive, like, that big, like literally that big of a fibroid attached to my uterus, my womb. And she was asking me, like, do you experience extreme pain, like when you have your period? And I was like, yes. And then she was like, no, this is like a really big thing. Like, it's a big fibroid that's growing on your uterus. And then she gave me my options, and one of the most permanent options, so she could go in and just remove the fibroid, but she couldn't guarantee that the fibroid would not regrow, right? And I was like, okay. And then she gave me like the options to remove my uterus along with the fibroid, because it was like right up against it, and it was like pushing the my uterus against my bladder. Like, I could not hold my pee. Like, I literally could not hold my pee. And I couldn't understand, like, it would be like a faucet. Like, the minute something goes down my throat, it's not even 5 minutes, and then I need to get to the toilet. It would be like if we go to the mall, or anywhere for that matter, I need to make sure that I know where the bathrooms are, like where the toilets are, because if I drink anything, I would need the toilet. And I didn't know, like, I didn't understand why. But anyway, so she told me, like, okay, this is what's going on. This is the reason for the pain and all of these things. And I was like, my goodness, like I would have never known. Like, I think this is too bright. What is this now? I would never have known. Like, I would never, ever, 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 ever have guessed that that was the reason. So, I came, yeah, I then chatted to my husband, and we decided, well, I decided, because it's my body, that it's our body, that, well, my choice was to remove my uterus. And I don't know why that's making me uncomfortable. Not, yeah. And I knew what that meant. That meant that I would not be able to conceive any more kids. I really, really, really wanted to have another child. But, you know, knowing that in like 3 months, 4 months of turning 40, did I really want to do that? The last time I gave birth was almost 16 years ago at that time. So was I ready for that kind of commitment? You know, like, was I ready for sleepless nights? Was I ready for all of those things? So it's one thing to have a desire. It's another thing to be ready for that desire. And we were just starting to like enjoy the fact that we don't have to actively take care of kids. Like, our kids are self-sufficient. They for all intents and purposes, they don't need us for anything physical. Like, they can make food for themselves, they can get dressed on their own. Like, we literally just parents, you know, like, we in a different phase of parenting, and having another child would mean that we go back to where we came from. Anyway, so I was like, okay, nah. I will stick with my decision to not have another child, because she then said, like, in the consultation, like, to review it, because I told her, like, you know, it would have been nice, because yeah, it would have been nice to have another child, but knowing what I know now, like, I don't want to put myself under pressure to try and fall pregnant after a fibroid is removed, and yeah, nah, there was just too many things. And at this time, so I think the thing that I am asking, that I'm wondering about in the recent weeks leading up to the 1-year anniversary, is I'm asking myself if I had the surgery because I didn't believe that God would heal me. And to answer that question truthfully, I never doubt God's work. I never doubt his ability, right? I always wonder about my faith, because I believe, and I might be wrong in my belief, that he does according to what we believe. Do you get my point? Like, he doesn't do, like, your faith does not determine what he can do, but your faith, the absence of it, or the presence of it, or the size of it, determines how his greatness shows up in your life. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's how I see it. If you don't see it that way, let me know. That's how I see it. And at the time, to be honest, my faith was not at that level. Now, yeah, now Now I can be like, this fibroid is gonna melt in the name of Jesus. It's not gonna bother me and it won't grow back, you know. But that's where I am right now, and I don't regret having the surgery, because so many things, like before I had the surgery as well, I was like earnestly praying about it. I was making sure that I had peace about the fact that I was going to do the surgery. I was making sure that I was asking God for his protection during the surgery, that he would keep his hand on me during that time. And you know, like, yes, I was going through the surgery instead of completely believing that he was going to just, you know, remove the fibroid, which is very, very possible. I have no doubt in my mind that it is possible. I believe people when they say that that has happened for them, but my faith was not there. Like, my faith was really not at that level. And I am fine with that. But God healed more parts of my body that I didn't even know needed healing through that surgery. There's like things that needed to be discovered that he healed me from because of that surgery. I don't know if it makes sense. So the healing didn't take place how I would probably expect it in a perfect world, you know, like a faithful woman of God, and how I would expect it to. But God definitely healed my body. He healed my body better than what I could ask for. He healed so many other things in that process that I can never. He healed me holistically. So I went for physical surgery, but I believe that that was a spiritual and physical surgery as well, because the woman that I am now afterwards is totally different. Like, I am totally different, totally different. And there was complications in that surgery, and I believe that God was there with me. Like, there was a serious complication. Another surgeon had to be called in to do some other work to make sure that this surgery is successful. So I was in there for way longer than I was supposed to be, and my pain was much more than was anticipated. So I was in a lot of pain. I was down for 6 weeks. My mother came to be with me for 2 weeks. My husband was here working from home for most of the time. My kids were here. Like, everyone was just amazing. Like, everyone was just amazing. My friends were sending gifts, and there's still one gift that I need to redeem, but that is an ultimate sign of faith. And because, yeah, that is just a beautiful gift. But when I do it, I'm going to tell y'all about it. Like, my friends sent flowers, well wishes. People were praying for me. I know that without a shadow of a doubt. And I am grateful. So yeah, a lot was
when
healed.
he wants to,
A lot was healed,
and according to his
in
word
surgery.
and to his will. And I
Some things that just
think
too
that
personal to
sometimes
speak
we
about,
want to
like
dictate.
some things that just never gonna be on the internet. But what y'all need to know is that I think why I'm talking about this is because God shows up in our lives in his time and in his way, not the way that you always wanted, or I always wanted, or the way that you expect it to be. He does his thing in his time. To God, you want to pray, but then you want to dictate to God how he needs to work, like how he needs to show up in that moment. And I know I've definitely done that. I've definitely tried to dictate to God, like, this is what I want and this is what, like, so make it happen, you know. And that's not how it works. You can ask, but I don't think that's how it works. but that's just little on me. I don't know. So yeah, all the extra weight has come off. I didn't know that I had all that extra weight because my hormones were crazy. Like my hormones were just, that thing was just wreaking havoc on my life. It was just wreaking havoc on my body, on my physical, like on the, how do I put this? On the quality, the quality of my life. It was just wreaking havoc, and I did not know that. I did not know that. But when I did know, I sorted it out. So yeah, is there something that you believe in God for and expecting Him to do it in your way? Or are you allowing Him to actually be God in your life and doing it His way? Yeah. And I'm not saying that having surgery is God's way. I don't know. Like, I also don't know. But I know that, like, I really had peace before I went in. I had peace afterwards. And yeah, it's not something that really, like, bothers me. You know? It's not something that I don't sit there, like, I don't think about it. Like, I know that I had surgery, and that's the first time I had surgery. That's the longest time that I've ever been in a hospital also. It's the first time I had surgery and the longest time that I was there at the hospital. And yeah. So what I learned from all of this is I suppose to trust God's process, because now a year later I can see why I needed to, like, what that healing was and what that healing needed to be. And at the time, I perhaps did not understand completely why I felt that I needed to have the surgery. Yeah, so the physical benefits of having it was the fact that I like, all the extra weight came off. It's something that bothered me. I never really acknowledged that it bothered me. I just thought, like, it is what it is. Like, I'm getting older, my metabolism is slowing down, and all of those things. And I kind of just accepted all this extra weight, and didn't really pay much attention to it. And I would exercise and I would eat right, but then the weight doesn't go anywhere, and I would be like, and for a lot of people it would be like, but you weren't big, you know. But for me, it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. I don't mind a little bit of extra weight on my bones. Now I appreciate it, but I have to be comfortable. I have to feel comfortable, and I wasn't feeling comfortable, and that was not cool for me. So yeah, I don't even know why I'm telling you all this, honestly, but I suppose maybe there's a message in it for somebody. Maybe there's a reminder in it for someone. I don't know. If not, then at least we chatted, and now y'all know that I don't have a uterus. Yeah. Oh, the other part, like, I don't know. You know what? I just realized something now. Like, while we're talking about this, as much as my faith was dwindling before I went in for surgery, right? And when I went in for surgery, when I came out of that surgery, I know that there's absolutely nothing that God cannot do for me if I asked, obviously according to his will. And I'm going to tell you all this. I was struggling with a back pain for years. For years. It became part of my life. It would flare up and I would just struggle and struggle and struggle. And I took it that this was how my life was going to be. I was just going to struggle with this back pain forever. And in March, I got my healing out of the blue. And I felt it. I felt it. Because I was like, God, I can't. Like, anything that's in my body that's not from you, remove it. And I felt it. And I've never had back pain again. Not that back pain. Because the other day I hurt myself. I think I picked up something heavy. But it's not the same back pain. I know what that back pain feels like. And at the end of March, God healed me completely. Like without surgery, without medication, I felt it. I knew, like when it happened, I knew what that was. And I know for a fact that if I did not go through that process of that surgery, of that healing, because my body was injured after that surgery. Like it was sore. And I have a very low tolerance of pain. So I'm already piperag. And it was sore. It was excruciatingly painful to the point where I was like, I only didn't feel pain when I was on the painkillers because I got very strong painkillers. But I had to force myself to get off the painkillers so that I don't develop an addiction for it, because I could feel like I'm becoming dependent on these painkillers. And I would like wean myself off little by little, little by little, little by little. And the pain was hectic. So let me go and look at myself in natural light and fix up my stuff, put on some mascara, and then I'm gonna come back to close the video. Okay, so we've come to the end of this video, and if you are still watching because you're my cousin and because you want the best for me, I appreciate it. Thank you. So if you're not one of my cousins yet, all you have to do is just to subscribe wherever the subscribe button shows up here on the screen. Or if you don't want to subscribe, you might as well like the video because you watched this long. And go watch another video. Maybe I convince you on another video that you should subscribe. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.